First, let me explain about the recipe. It's Bannock. It's been used hundreds of years. But the recipe I use is just 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of powdered milk, and 1 tablespoon of shortening. When you mix it up, it's best to put all the dry ingredients into the bowl. Mix up the dry ingredients first before you add the shortening. Okay. Then I take that and I store that in a Ziploc bag. That Ziploc bag then goes inside this, and that stuff will stay good 6 months to a year. So I make up a large amount, pull out what I need, what I'm going to use, and take that. There are a couple different ways to make it. Usually, I'll mix the stuff with water, make like a dough, wrap it on the end of the stick, just cook it over a fire. Turn the stick, cook it that way. Other people will take a frying pan, a little bit of oil, and fry it up in there. You can also, if you make it thinner, use it like a pancake. You can also, and I'm going to be doing it today, make like dumplings.
Yeah, it was lovely.
There will not be a lot of flavor in it. To add more flavor, to get variety, instead of just using flour, you could use, it says 1 cup of flour, you could use half a cup of flour, half a cup of acorn meal. Half a cup of flour, half a cup of oats. Half a cup of flour, half a cup of cornmeal. Half a cup of flour, half a cup of whole wheat flour. That gives you variety so that you're not eating the same thing day after day. And you also have other things that you can add to it. Brown sugar. Oh yeah. Raisins. If you are gonna make it like a biscuit, like you got a stew, put in a little bit of garlic powder. Warning about garlic powder. If you put in too much garlic powder, it tastes bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Warning about the baking powder. If you put too much baking powder in, the food develops a metallic taste. My recipe calls for, how much baking powder? A teaspoon of baking powder. I found some recipes that call for a tablespoon, which is 3 times the amount. And when I made it, it tasted like it had an aluminum aftertaste to it. I didn't like it. So, what you need to do is be creative, experiment. And that's what you're going to do today. You're going to be able to make up many different batches, experiment with different stuff. I brought Ziploc bags so you can take the extra, because you're not going to use the whole amount at one time. Take the extra stuff, put it in a Ziploc bag, zip it shut, store it with your backpack. And you've got
some partridge, marinating in milk. Got some short lunch batter. I got some Crisco.
to cook it in?
To cook.
Okay, you do it in a frying pan?
Yes.
All right. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to make up all kinds of different batches. I've got 40 Ziploc bags. So you can put the stuff in the Ziploc bag. I'll try to scrounge up a marker so you can mark what it is, because I don't think a month from now you'll remember.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But most of my cooking is over the fire on a stick. Get a squirrel, just lay the thing out on a forked stick, cook it over the fire. Same thing with fish. The bannock I do over the fire, just wrap it around on a stick. Make sure you wrap it tight, because I've seen it unwrap, which is not good, because then you watch it go into the fire.
Yeah.
I've seen in videos where people have had a rock, flat rock, angled next to the fire, and they just stuck it to the rock and cooked it that way.
It's thin enough.
What?
Well, you don't want too thick of a rock.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
The
a
rock absorbs the heat.
Yeah, it's
conductor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides, the face of the rock that you put the bannock on is facing the fire.
Well,
It's not on the opposite side.
alright.
No. It's really up to your imagination. But if you think you're going to go out in the woods with nothing and survive well, it's not going to happen. It's not, how many edible plants are you going to find this time of year?
Not.
not.
Yeah.
I can find.
There is still apples on the trees though.
Oh,
Yeah.
All over. The deer did
too.
come to our house this year because they were still out on the road behind us eating apples off the apple trees. And we drive by that road every once in a while and there's still apples on the
You
trees.
should see how
Yeah.
They
there's
ain't bugs here, I don't
icicles
know.
from the apples. If you take the icicles, it tastes, really fruity.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Crossing my street, there's a plum tree. All the plums are frozen solid. They're like him. There were icicles on it, and you could taste them.
Really?
Yeah.
I took one and I threw one at my brother.
Oh, okay. Anyway, typically, this time of year, you can't find much out there for food. I know where I can get some reindeer moss that I could put into a stew to eat. I remember where the patches are. All I have to do is dig through the 2 or 3 feet of snow that we've got. Hopefully I dig down in the right spot. But the odds of going out there and living off the land, nah,
That's slim.
not that good. Now you have to remember the Native Americans, they had all year to stockpile things, to build up stuff. So when the winter came, they had, not maple syrup, but maple candy that they boiled down. But you can only do that in the spring. They make enough to last through the whole year. When they harvested acorn, enough to last the whole year. Did the corn, enough to last the whole year. That's the advantage they have that you don't have. You can't go out in the woods and harvest corn right now. It's 3 feet of snow. Now, the big thing, all this stuff is very versatile. You can use it multiple different ways. You can cook it multiple different ways. And all you need to do is add water to it. And it's ready to go, good to go. And it's not very heavy. So it's light, compact, and you can make it yourself. So you can make it to your own taste. And that's one of the 2 things that you need in order to be not roughing it out in the woods. In my opinion, if you can sleep very comfortably and you can eat well, you're not roughing it. What's the phrase? Smoothing it. You're smoothing it, not roughing it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, any questions? Great. I'll stop the camera. Let's get cooking.
Sounds great.
Alright.
Wonder what my grandma complained about.
Okay, Ben, what do you got in there?
Alright, I got half a cup of flour, half a cup of oatmeal, and teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of powdered milk, and not yet, but I will be putting in there a tablespoon of shortening.
Okay. Okay, Cole, what do you got in there?
I got half a cup of flour, 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour, and another 1/4 cup of acorn flour also.
Okay.
Also have a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of powdered milk. And eventually, after mixing all the dry ingredients, I will be adding 1 tablespoon of shortening.
Cool.
We're doing, no, it's a good thing. Yeah.
So what you got there, Cole?
We got partridge and some shore lunch batter.
You got kind of a large can.
Ah, a little longer.
Yeah. Got some nice piece of partridge cooking up here.
Oh yeah.
Looks nice.
Thank you.
And this here is our bannock made with acorn flour. And there is our regular bannock. Both of them fried up. And right here we're using the bannock to make dumplings with our beef stew. Okay. There we go. It's the bannock. Baked it up in the oven. And there's Coles. He used the bannock to make pancakes.
Make the bannock very thin. Pretty, well, pretty thin.
Yep. You got going in there.
Well, what I'm planning to do is make another batch of whole wheat bannock. So I put more of this whole wheat flour and regular bleached flour. And I think I'm gonna make some sweet pancakes. Some of this, maybe some brown sugar, normal sugar.
Some raisins and some brown sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.